Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and before I get started on today's Cyberdark Samorg deck, I'd like to share with you a little bit about why I wasn't on here for a minute. And honestly, the worst is past, but we had a bit of a medical emergency in the family. They're doing better. They're on the road to recovery right now, so that's awesome. Secondly, I got some other good news. I'm actually going to go through with one of my projects, and one of those projects was I was going to be doing a Pokemon channel. So if you guys are into that, dust off your Switches. The 19th is coming pretty soon. We will have the new Diamond and Pearl stuff. It's going to be real fun. When I do finally get the channel up, I'll do like a little prologue type video. And maybe you guys will go out there and check it out if you're into that as well. Outside of that, let's get you guys a deck profile. Now, this is going to be the last of my 6 Cyberdark deck profiles. And again, since this one was unlimited budget, and I love the control aspect that the actual Cyberdark cards have, we're going to go ahead and do the profile for that. And I'm going to try to leave the cards on the table rather than just being all swift about it. So the first card we're going to use is we are going to be using 3 copies of Cyberdark Cannon. Pretty straightforward. 2 copies of Chimera, the Power Bond Searcher, pretty amazing. 3 copies of Claw, because Claw's pretty important too. This time we're going to double up on Edge, Horn, and Keel. Number 1, it's going to give us additional targets because in order to play Cyberdarkness, we are going to need 5 names. They do not need to be different names, but it's a good way to help us maximize by adding more names into the deck. Since we are going to be playing Dark Simorgh in here, 2 seems to be relatively the best in every version that I have tried. Just plays the best. And to add a little bit of wind to this, because we're going to need it, I'm going to be running 1 copy of Dragunity Achilles and 3 copies of Dragunity Phalanx, which is amazing because number 1, these guys are tuners, they're dragons, they're equipable, and Phalanx obviously is going to be able to jump off and become its own character as well. So that is the monsters. I hope that was long enough. If not, you can back up, pause it just a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead because I have a real OCD about these things being out of order. Except when being played, so I'm going to go ahead and stack them back up over there real quick. The spell cards we're going to be needing. Obviously, since we're not playing the Cyber Core and Cybernetic Horizon, we're going to need something to add a layer of consistency. So for this, I'm running 3 copies of Lurid Darkness. And again, if we end up with 2 Simorghs in the opening hand, get rid of 1, get some options in there. Edge, Horn, and Keel, while they're a little more playable here because we have the Dragunity tuners that we could pull back. Again, still a really good option for you guys. I'm actually going to increase the field spell Cyberdark Inferno to 2 for this list, as I do enjoy the blanket protections, and it really will help us with our build. I'm cutting Realm back down to 2 from 3 in the previous lists. Again, this is sort of tanky, and it does offer us some stuff to do. Next up, we're going to run a single copy Dragon Shrine. And again, this will help us get the Dragunity characters in the discard pile. We can start equipping Phalanx as soon as we can, or as soon as we want. Additionally, we could send Claw and Cannon to the discard, as they're also dragons. And in lieu of playing a second copy of that, I'm going with a Foolish Burial, because again, we can send Edge, Horn, Keel, Chimera, whoever we want, from deck to discard pile. And when it comes to getting off the Cyberdarkness play, Foolish Burial should be prioritized over Shrine, but they should be ran in tandem. Again, for our fusion spells, you're going to double up on the Power Bond. Again, the Chimeras, we got 2 Searchers, we got 2 targets. And then the single Overload fusion. Again, all of the fusions we're going to be running today are Dark Machines, and so this is really going to help out. So again, I should have said something about you could pause it right there, but I didn't, because I am a terrible person. It's the first time I've tried doing it this way. So again, I hope that you guys are patient with me. Moving on to the traps. And again, this is really trap heavy. We got 8 traps today. But again, this is a control form. First thing you should know, since you saw Dark Simorgh, was the anti-spell fragrance at 3. And again, all we want to do is we want to make it so that we can eliminate the spell cards from the game, or even without Simorgh, slow the spell cards down. So if you do get the opportunity to go first, and again, this deck will like to go first now, this is a great way for you to just go ahead and immediately throw a wrench at your opponent. We are going to bank off of the 2 Cyberdark invasions again. Just good tech, great tech, and round out with 3 infinite impermanents. Again, we got these as super rares with the structure deck, and it is a perfect card for every deck. And I kind of shot my mouth off and said I would run it in every version of this deck while I was doing these structures. So that is the trap lineup. Real quick, so I don't forget it the third time, you can go ahead and pause that if you need to write that down, or make a note, or take a screenshot, or whatever it is that you do. And cool. We'll go ahead and get into the extra deck now. So that is our 40-card main deck. For our extra deck, we're going to start in the fusions. I am running a single copy Cyberdark Dragon, and again, you don't always play this. You almost never play it, but there are going to be instances where it is a go-to move, and it's especially useful with the Overload fusion. The main boss monster, and again, I maximized him, the Cyberdarkness Dragon, because I wouldn't mind playing him 3 times in the same game. And again, just super good. These are the fusions. These are the only 4 fusions I'm running. Again, I didn't feel the need to put in anything like Chimera Tech Fortress or Mega Fleet, because I'm not running Cyber Dragon in here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the fusions off the board. Let's get you guys to some synchros, because remember, we got some tuners. I'm going to do these ones out of order. The base start synchros are going to be your 5 and your 6. And for this deck, I went with Chunbara, so I can add another wind attribute. And I went with Bryanak. This way we could get rid of extra cards in the hand. We could possibly build into Chimera using Power Bond and using it from the discard pile. So these are great. We can make 5. We can make 6. 6 is more opportune and more often. But 5 is an option, so that's in there. These are pretty self-explanatory. It is what it is. I'll put them up a little higher. And then we've got our build-ups. So if you're going to go from the 5, you're probably going to build up to the Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. Adds another wind attribute into our build and a little more of a control aspect. And then if we build off of the 6 with the Bryanak, we are going to be able to build into one of 2 of my favorite cards. I love Scarlet Red Dragon Arcfiend for going ahead and just taking care of a big special summon board. And Boral Savage Dragon is still always going to be a good option, especially since we do play links in here. It'll give you extra negates and allow you to put more pressure on the opponent. So we're going to get the synchros out of your way. And let's just get to the links. And the links I'm just going to do in order because you guys kind of know who they're going to be. So you need the Boral Sword. He's obvious. He's your big power card. You got the Cross Sheep because we can do the fusion summoning and the re-special summon effect. IP Masquerena for doing it on our opponent's turn. Phoenix to take care of Spell Trap. Unicorn to spin or seal any card from their side back into their deck. And Predaplane for Anaconda. Again, I think this guy's going to get a reprint in the new gold pack. And right now he is going to allow us to speed out into the Overload fusion if we need it. So we don't always play him. And if you don't have him, don't worry. Play something else that you like. Play something else that you have. My decks should just be considered cookie cutters. So that was the 15-card extra deck. So just real quick, anybody who was here for just the list, I want to thank you guys for stopping by today. It means a whole lot. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, and if you haven't already, the best way to support this channel, go ahead, hit subscribe, and let your friends know. And seriously, if you guys are into some Pokemon, we'll be busting this guy out here a little bit later on next week. We'll start making that channel too. So you guys, you have a great day. And everybody else, let's go over the card choices just a little more. Read off the effects for you guys. Maybe you're still just not as familiar with them. So real quick, we're going to start back in the main deck. We do have Cannon. Cannon and Claw work pretty much the same way. They both get an effect if they're sent to the graveyard while they were equipped to a monster card. Cannon allows you to draw 1 card. Claw will allow you to add 1 Cyberdark monster from your graveyard back to your hand. The Cannon's effects are as follows. You can discard this card from your hand. Add 1 Machine Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand. Great way to get your Chimera early. And during damage calculation, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can send one monster from your main deck to the discard pile. So he's not too bad. And again, he's going to give a 1600 buff to the original trio if equipped by their effects. We're going to go ahead with the Claw real quick just because I already mentioned him. So again, yeah, we could add back one of our Cyberdark monsters from discard to hand. We discard this from the hand in order to add a Cyberdark spell trap from the deck to the hand. This is a great way to get into our realm or even our field spell. Additionally, if during damage calculation a monster equipped with this battles, you can send one monster from the extra deck to the graveyard. Now, again, there are some options about why you would do this, but it's not as necessary to utilize that effect in this version. We do have the Chimera being the best and the only power bond searcher we should be talking about anymore. While on the field, you can discard one spell or trap to add power bond from deck to hand, and you can only use Dragon or Machine Cyber monsters as fusion material this turn. So you can't use the Dragunities for that, but that's fine. It doesn't matter anyway. Also, when you fusion summon this turn, you can banish monsters from the graveyard in addition. So you can banish from the graveyard, use hand and field while using the power bond. This is the best card for this. And again, I felt 2 was relatively good just because of how searchable it is. So we do have the cannons, so we can just go ahead and grab that. And of course, we have the realms. So good cards, great cards. Last effect, you could send one, if this is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send one Cyberdark from deck to graveyard with a different name from cards already in graveyard. Each effect once per turn. And again, you have Edge, Horn, and Keel. They all have the same effect. When these cards are summoned, normal summoned, they can target a level 3 or lower dragon monster in the graveyard, equip it to this. Gain the attack, that's the original attack, on the dragon that they're equipping. And then if they would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. Additionally, their effects individually are Edge can attack directly, but if it does, its attack is halved during the damage calculation only. Horn gets piercing while equipped, and Keel says if he kills a monster in battle, your opponent will take 300 points of additional damage by effect. So again, Keel just kind of my least favorite, and if you had to cut one more card to add something else, Keel would be the choice. Dark Simorgh, good card, great card. This is part of the big combo here. This is how we're going to do, just like we did with ninjas recently. While this card is face up on the field, it is also considered to be wind attribute. You can banish one dark and one wind from your graveyard to special summon this from the hand. This is how we're going to be playing it in this deck. You can banish one dark and one wind from your hand to special summon this from the graveyard. We can do it that way too. It's even easier. And your opponent cannot set any cards on the field while this character is face up. So, combining this with the anti-spell fragrance, saying that they have to set their spell cards for a turn before they can activate them, means we don't have to worry about spells or traps when we have both cards up. Kind of amazing. And he's not shy about attacking either. 2,700 points, very strong. Let's talk about the Dragunities. This is probably something that might catch somebody off guard. So the reason for Achilles is because I think his name was Koos, can only be used to make Dragunities. Otherwise, he would have a very similar effect to that of Phalanx. But we went with Achilles because when it's his normal summon, you can special summon one Dragunity from the hand, then equip that with this card. That's fine. We don't need it. When this is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, select a card on the field and destroy it. So we get a very similar effect to something along the lines of how the Claw and the Cannon are working with the timing. But instead, we're going to get some spot destruction. And when we pair this off with other cards later in the deck, this is going to allow us to double dip for destruction and give it a little more punch. Also, 2-star tuner. Very good. Phalanx, once per turn while this is equipped to a monster as an equipped card by a card effect, you can special summon this. Again, this will allow us to start link building. This will allow us to synchronize. There is a lot that we could do with this card. So again, we maximized him to 3. And I know, guys, it's a shame. There's 1 Ultra and 2 Secrets, and I couldn't get him the match in time. Again, going over to the spells, Allure Darkness. It's a predominantly dark deck. We should never have a problem doing this. Draw 2 cards, banish a dark from your hand, or if you can't, send your entire hand to the discard pile. That's fine. It's your draw 2. We have the 3 copies of Cyberdark Inferno, and this is one of the ways that we're going to use Achilles. So Cyberdark effect monsters that you control that are equipped with an equipped card cannot be destroyed by the opponent's card effects and cannot be targeted by card effects. You can target one Cyberdark monster you control, return it to the hand, which again would break the equipment card on it, and we would get those 3 different effects, whether it's Claw, Cannon, or Kills. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon one Cyberdark monster from your hand, which allows you to re-equip and then just go ahead straight back into being immune. You can use this once per turn. That's great. If this is in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add one polymerization spell or fusion spell from your deck to your hand. This is a second way of getting to overload fusion. It's just as consistent because honestly, people are going to want to target this, which is why I ramped it up to 2. I still couldn't justify 3 with how searchable it is. And especially since I took away some of the targets for the claw, I think it was. So the Cyberdark Realm, this is essentially tanky for our deck. When activated, add one Cyberdark monster from the deck to the hand with a different name from cards already in the graveyard. During the main phase, immediately after this resolves, normal summon a Cyberdark monster, which again allows us to equip. You can only use the previous effect once per turn. If you equip a monster from the graveyard by the effect of a Cyberdark monster that activated when it was normal summoned or special summoned, you can equip from the opponent's graveyard instead. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. It's all good. It's all fine. It's just a really fun card to play. And it will help us get our numbers up when we're going into darkness. Again, Dragon Shrine is just a foolish burial for our dragon types. Again, we would get extra effects if we were sending normal dragons. We're not. And then Foolish Burial for the 1 or 2 times that you actually need to put another Cyberdark and you don't exactly want it to be a dragon because you're going to power bond and banish. So this allows us to throw the Edge, Horn, and Keel into the discard pile, get that over with, and go strong. Power bond, fusion summon 1 fusion monster that's machine typed from the extra deck, using cards from hand and field as material. Gain attack equal to the original attack, and during the end phase, take damage equal to the attack that was gained. Now, the attack gain is permanent. The damage is only once. So, keep that in mind. And again, when paired off with Chimera, who's going to search this for you, you guys are going to go ahead and be able to banish cards from the discard in addition to this. So, it's a full board fusion. It's awesome. Overload fusion can only be used for dark machines. Banish from your side of the field and graveyard. Material monsters listed on a dark machine. Special summon it. Fine. Yeah. I thought this also made you send all other cards that you had on your side of the field to the discard too, but maybe that's just because I'm not using the newest printing. The traps, again, anti-spell fragrance. Both players have to set spells before activating them. Cannot activate them until the next turn. Basically, spells turn into traps, and with Dark Simorgh, spells can't be played by your opponent. It'll slow you down, but the fact that it stops the opponent is, I think, more advantageous. Double invasion. Once per turn, you can activate one of the following effects, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So if you have both of these up, you can activate both effects. One has to do effect 1, other has to do effect 2. First effect, target a Cyberdark effect monster you control. Equip a dragon or machine from either graveyard to it as an equipped spell that gives 1,000 attack. Or send an equip you control to send an equip you control equipped to a machine monster that you control to the graveyard. Destroy 1 card your opponent controls. And again, if that card is a Keels, destroy 2 cards. And then again, impermanence. Basically, effect Veiler as a trap that can be activated from the hand if you don't control any cards. And if you activate it from the field, any other cards in the same column that are spell traps can also not be activated that turn. Very good. I do apologize, throat's getting a little dry. Real quick, through the extra deck, Cyberdark is Horn, Edge, and Keel. Fusion must be fusion summoned if special summoned. Target a dragon monster in the graveyard. Equip that target to this card. Gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped by this effect. Gain 100 for each monster in the graveyard. If this would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. There was one time that I needed to overpower my opponent, and this was the only way for me to do it. Again, he's just in here because I like the aesthetic. You guys can absolutely switch it out if you like. Cyber Darkness, I maximized it for a reason. Any 5 Cyberdark effect monsters, they could be 3 of the same, 2 of another. Doesn't matter. Must first be fusion summoned. If this is special summoned, you can equip a dragon or machine from your graveyard to this card. Gain attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped to it. When your opponent activates a card or effect, as a quick effect, you can send an equipped card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and destroy the card. So again, if we can send Achilles, we get a negate, destroy that card, and destroy another card. There's a lot of pressure that those dragunities can help us just add. It's silly. Borreload Savage, level 8 Synchro, very generic. If Synchro summoned, you can equip a Link monster in your graveyard to this. And if you do, get Borrel counters on this equal to the Link rating. Gain attack equal to half the attack of the monster equipped by effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, remove a Borrel counter from this negate activation. Use this effect once per turn. Again, this can help us build up some negates. Scarlet Red Dragon, very neutral again. Very generic to make. Becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while on field and grave. Once per turn, destroy as many monsters that were special summoned on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to this card other than this card, and then inflict 500 damage to the opponent for each monster that was destroyed. So again, if they don't have a strong board, but they have a big board and it was a lot of special summoning, this could be a lot of effect damage followed by a very significant hit. So very cool. Clearwing Synchro. This thing got a whole paragraph. Let's get it. It is a 7-star. Very generic. Once per turn when another level 5 or higher activates its effect on the field. Quick effect. Negate activation, and if you do, destroy it. Once per turn when a monster effect is activated that targets one level 5 or higher monster on the field and no other cards. Quick effect. Negate activation, and if you do, destroy it. If this card's effect destroys a monster, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. So again, he's got a lot of potential to get big. I like this alternate art. It's just a good card. Bryanak is in here. Very generic again, 6 stars. Discard any number of cards, then return the same number of cards from the field to the graveyard. It's not a cost for those who are out there wondering. It does pair off with things like Dark World. And in this case, it can help us get rid of extra cards in hand. High Speed Roy Chambara. Literally didn't care about the fact that it can attack twice. Only looking at the 5 stars and the wind attribute here. Verde Anaconda, again. Link 2, pay 2k. And we can add discard one fusion card from our deck, which would be the Overload Fusion. And then we use that as this card's effect. So then we would perform that. The Unicorn again, link 3. Discard a card when we link summon, target a card on the field, put it back in the opponent's deck. Phoenix, same thing, only this time destroy a spell trap. IP Masquerena allows us to link during our opponent's main phase. And we have to use it as part of it. And then any link monster that used this card as material cannot be destroyed by opponent card effects. So again, gets another little blanket protection, which is awesome. Cross Sheep is in here for the 1 or 2 times that you're going to use it right after you fuse to build your board. Again, I use this to go into Unicorn sometimes. I'll play my Cross Sheep real quick. I'll use my Power Bond or my Overload Fusion. No, not the Overload Fusion. I only ever used the Power Bond. Don't let me lie there. I used the Power Bond, created a fusion, was able to bring back somebody from the discard pile, and then link off with the Cross Sheep. Boral Sword is there as my budget access code talker. It allows me to punch over stuff, and that is it. No more cards. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed all the cyber/dark decks, and I can't wait to get back to some normal stuff. I do have a Magic-y deck I want to do, and then I wanted to do Shadal's this last month, and my footage actually got deleted. I had a hard drive malfunction. I was right around the time that Celestial went ahead and did a box or pack opening. She took some of my packs and did that for you guys. So I gotta go rebuild that deck and make that video for you guys. So those are 2 things that are gonna be upcoming. I do hope that you guys can look forward to that and enjoy it. And again, seriously, guys, thanks for watching. I just have one favor now. Try to have a great day, my friends. See you later.